They admitted it.
The problem that I have with anything that we do to aid Israel, as far as militarily, is that they're the strongest. I mean, they're the strongest power there is in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't be without our backing, but they are. The Israeli army, man for man, probably among the best in the world. I don't know why we need to shed American blood to protect Israel. And, I mean, a made-up country that didn't exist until 47, I believe, the Balfour Declaration. Mm-hmm. And American blood has been shed repeatedly. I bet you there's been more American blood shed in the name of Israel than there has been Israeli. Sure. And to be going out there, sticking our nose in, where, I mean, the Israelis are not a welcome presence in the Middle East. They're not Arabs. They're surrounded by Arab countries. It was a mistake to put it there.
Joe, it was intentional to put it there. Let me just interrupt just for a second. You see, what's interesting about this, in 1897, it was actually the Rothschilds themselves. I mean, there are books, that literally were written, like the actual planning of World War II and planning of World War I and all of the actual plans prior to them happening. And this is one of the things that was planned, was Israel. The Zionists got together to create this state of Israel and put it exactly where there would just be constant conflict. And they hit it, and they hit it right on the head. And it's part of this. And they literally allowed all those Jews to die in the concentration camp. And the Rothschilds are Zionist Jews, and they allowed all of the Nazi tyranny to happen. Actually funded it. Then created and bought 85% of the state of Israel, and said, this is what we're going to do because the Israeli people the Jewish people who have been so oppressed have a place for freedom and liberty and happiness while we enslave the Palestinian neighbors. It's just, it's crazy, brother.
They're very lucky that I wasn't born Palestinian.
Tell me about it, right? Holy shit. And people look at me like I'm nuts when I say Palestinian, Israel's terrorist country. He said, what do you mean? They're terrorists.
They're freedom fighters.
It's funny because if you look at the history of the nation of Israel when they were under occupation, when it was Palestine and the British occupied it, the Israelis had several organizations, which of course are called resistance fighters or freedom fighters. But what did they do? They blew they blew themselves up with suicide bombers to take out the British and any other power that dared to get in there, because they wanted their way. And of course, all of their leaders, their post settlement leaders, were all, to use today's terminologies, you would call them terrorists. But of course, through the magic of whitewashing in the media, they're heroes. All of these people, the early presidents and leaders of the Israeli nation, were all involved in terrorist groups and terrorist acts.
And Ariel Sharon. Ariel Sharon's a big one.
But nobody seems to know that. It just amazes me because the information is there.
You have to study it. It's right there. Everything that we talk about here at Truth Talk News is there, but nobody speaks of it, so you got to find it. Which means you got to get your ass off the couch and stop watching this mainstream media and do some research.
The thing about it is it's some research about the things that you talk about on your show. You really need to dig hard to find.
Absolutely.
But this is stuff that I mean,
mainstream.
I'm a little older than you boys, and I've just lived through this stuff, and I remember things in the late '60s and early '70s regarding Israel and their behavior and their wars that they fought, and the information, there are people my age that if I were to mention several facts about Israel that have occurred within their lifetime, that all they had to do was turn on Channel 2 News or whatever it was, whatever mainstream media cared to report on it, the information is there. It was always there. And then it seems to me like, I don't know if it's brainwashing or whatever it is, but those memories seem to disappear. It's like they never really occurred, and I'm like, is it just me? I wouldn't call myself a really intelligent guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm semi-intelligent, and some of the information is just so out there and available that it just amazes me that more people don't realize what the hell is going on around them.
Well, you hit it right on the head there, Joe. It's the mind control. It's because they're showing, it's the same thing. It's like they put these images of Israel. If you're not, and it's very, very clear and obvious, if you do not support Israel, you are an anti-Semite. Whereas it's the only country in the world that you can think about this, where if you're against that particular country, how does it make you a racist? Think about that. If you're against Canada, does that mean that you're against what? I don't mean, you know what I mean?
I go back to an interview I read back in the heyday of the PLO with Yasser Arafat, and I remember, you may even remember this. You might be old enough. In a Playboy interview, they were talking.
Yes, the famous Playboy interview with Yasser Arafat. I remember that. I read that. I did.
Right, and he said, "How could I be an anti-Semite?" He says, "Everywhere I go, everybody tells me I'm an anti-Semite. I'm an anti-Semite. I am a Semitic person. How could I? What am I? I'm hating myself, a self-hating Arab. I've never heard that term, but apparently that was trying to be applied to him. And he didn't have a real good worldwide reputation, but." Think what you will about him. I believe that he honestly tried to help his people out of the tough spot they were thrown into. And did he make bad decisions at times? Sure, he did. But is he the animal that the Zionists portray him as? I don't believe he was. It's just that he didn't play by their rules, and therefore he had to be vilified.
Well, let's look at Gaddafi. That's the reason why they go in there with love bombs. They say we're going to do something. We're going to help the people, kill 30,000 civilians, put Al Qaeda in place, take all the gold that he wanted to use to buy oil with, and to create a currency that would be debt free for the entire nation of the entire continent of Africa. No way were they going to let that happen. No way.
I got to tell you, I'm not very technically savvy here, and I'm trying to get your live stream on 24/7 Truth Talk News. I'm just not able to do it. I haven't. The whole time I'm on the phone with you, I'm trying to get your live stream video, and I'm not able to. I don't know if it's my computer or if you're having troubles there, but I'm not able to I'm not able to access this.
You might be able to access it, really. So, are you going www.livestream.com/Truth Talk News?
Yeah, www.livestream.com/Truth Talk News. I have that on, and it may just be my computer, I guess.
It may be because we're talking about Israel again.
And the last time we talked about Israel, we actually lost the stream. I'm not even kidding you. And
they shot like a bug through.
And we lost the stream. We got the recording from Informed Radio, but I lost the live stream because
I don't know if the man is putting his foot on your throat or what.
Oh, they've been. They always throw a little. They always put a little monkey grease. A monkey wrench in the works there. A little fly in the ointment on a basically daily basis. But whatever. I mean, the more that they do this, and the more that it just absolutely clarifies how on mark we are. So it's almost like if you're not getting any resistance, you're not making any. You're not making any progress.
And that's why we always hear...
what? I'm starting to lose your connection.
All right.
Maybe, I don't know if my number showed up. I don't know if you can even hear me anymore.
I hear you.
If you can, I don't know. I'll try to straighten whatever's going on out here, and then I'll try to call you back because even the phone's not working now. So.
All right.
That's strange. Well, anyway, like I said, I'm going to be... Can you hear us?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, you can't hear us.
I'm going to hang up now. Good luck with your show.
Thank you.
And by the way, congratulations on purchasing Informed Radio. And I'll try to stay. I'll try to become more involved.
Excellent.
Take care, and I will talk to you whenever, I guess.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Great. Okay, we're going to take a short break.
And that's why I wanted to speak to you today about the new world taking shape around us, about the prospects for a new world order now within our reach. In the coming weeks, I'll be talking in some detail about the possibility of a new world order emerging after the Cold War. But today, I want to discuss another aspect of that order. You see, as the Cold War drew to an end, we saw the possibilities of a new order in which nations work together. It refers to new ways of working with other nations to deter aggression and to achieve stability. As old threats recede, new threats emerge. The quest for the new world order is in part a challenge to keep the dangers of disorder at bay. We must build on the successes of Desert Storm to give new shape and momentum to this new world order. Only when this transformation is complete will we be able to take full measure of the opportunities presented by this new and evolving world order. The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities. This order gains its mission and shape not just from shared interests, but from shared ideals. Few exceptions. The world now stands as one. A year and a half ago, in Germany, I said that our goal was a Europe whole and free. Tonight, Germany is united. Europe has become whole and free. The world can therefore seize this opportunity to fulfill the long-held promise of a new world order. We can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves. A shining purpose, the illumination of 1,000 points of light. What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind.
Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
Saddam Hussein is determined to get his hands on a nuclear bomb.
Nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapon.
Active chemical munitions bunkers, mobile production facilities.
We know he's got chemical weapons. He's got them. He's got them. He's got them.
But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. Nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care.